Hey everybody, it's Wowous. We're here with Saviors of Uldum. We're going to be doing pack opening today. The expansion just came out. So we're going to open up all of these. Let's see, our Saviors of Uldum class legendary quest, Raid the Sky Temple. That's actually good. I was looking forward to this card. So get the Mage legendary, which is great. We get a pretty easy way to grab some more packs. As I mentioned in one of my videos talking about the packs, I did not pre-purchase packs. And the reason for that is I don't think the value right now is particularly great on these packs for a variety of reasons. So for me, I've moved away from pre-purchasing. So just so that you know, I'm going to be buying these gold. As you can see, I've had quite a bit of gold stored up here in my account. So that's just why we did that. So we're going to do 50 packs to get us started here. We're going to buy those with 5,000 gold. And we're going to jump right in and see what we get. We know we'll get a legendary in the first 10 packs. We've already got the Mage Quest legendary, which is a great start. And we'll see what else we get here in these 50 packs. And I think that will be all I'll purchase for today. I obviously want to see what the meta kind of stabilizes as. And yeah, Wild Tamer, great. So as you all have known, if you watched my last pack opening, what you'll see is that a lot of times you end up with the same handful of rares, like 10 times. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we see a lot of the same rares over time. So Sapper, Expired Merchant, those are both fine. We're really looking forward to epics and legendaries in this expansion. I think the legendaries are very, very powerful. But for me, again, I just don't want to spend the money on the game right now. I need to kind of see a little bit more from Hearthstone before I'm dumping more money into it personally. But I know that there's plenty of people out there who do pre-purchase packs, and if you're one of them, hopefully you enjoy it. But for me, I felt like I didn't get a lot out of the last pre-purchase, and especially where I've been saving up gold, it just made more sense to use gold for this time. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +1 attack. That's great for mech, I guess. Mech Paladin. Not that I play that at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see what the meta kind of settles on. Another just one rare pack, Overflow. Let's see here. We've got an epic and a rare. Golden rare here with Pharaoh's Blessing, which is a nice one. Shadow of Death. I talked about that in the pack opening video. I think Shadow of Death, there might be a way to play that will be effective, but I would need to play around with it a little bit first to try to figure out what it combos well with. We should be coming up on a legendary here in the next couple of packs, which is good. There it is. Well, this is a nice pack indeed. So we get a rare, another golden rare. That's great. Expired Merchant. So that's a second one of that. Another Shadow of Death. So we have two of those already. And we get the Beast Warrior card. Not sure how well that's going to play, but I will take it for the moment. I don't dust anything, and so if you're new to the game, my recommendation is don't dust anything right when the expansion comes out. You want to give it probably 2 to 3 weeks, which is a long time to wait, right? So definitely if you're trying to do quests, definitely consider playing Tavern Brawls to do your quests for the moment. You can definitely still play older decks, right? Because there's a lot of older decks. Like for example, I don't think Mech Hunter. You can still play with Mech Hunter and probably win. We'll see definitely in another golden rare, which is great. We've already got 3 golden cards in the first 10 or so packs. So yeah, cards. Decks like Mech Hunter. There are decks definitely that you can play through multiple iterations, and maybe you pick up a legendary here or there. You pick up a rare card that will be a good addition to that deck. So don't hesitate to upgrade your deck for sure. But a lot of decks you can just keep playing because a lot of other people are in the same boat, right? Where most people don't have very many legendaries right when the expansion comes out. And that's our third Expired Merchant. That might be our card this expansion that we just end up with a bazillion of, which is fine by me. We could use the dust. But you don't want to overspend your dust. And in terms of that, For me, I always try to keep at least about 5,000 dust, which is a lot. But when if you've been playing for a long time, 5,000 dust is not an awful lot. 2 epics in this, which is nice. There we go. But yeah, if you've been playing for a long time, right, 5,000 dust is not an awful lot. And so it gives you, I like the 5,000 dust going into the end of the year because we know Hall of Fame will come out near the end of the year, and I like to have that dust available to do those Hall of Fame cards and to, grab golden copies or whatever I need to do to kind of get the maximum dust to rotate the Hall of Fame stuff. Well, we get a couple of rares in this pack. Swarm of Locusts. There we go. But yeah, I would. My recommendation: wait 2 to 3 weeks, see what the meta settles down. Essentially, it's about a 4-month rotation, right, between expansions. We know the next expansion will probably come out in December, so you're talking about August to December for the next expansion. So you really want to kind of let the month of August go and see what settles in the meta. The meta sometimes will get disrupted a little bit by, as there's different championships going on, as there's different streamers playing, that will help settle what decks outperform what other decks. But for the meantime, you don't want to spend all your dust on crafting a bunch of legendaries. I think this expansion is going to be harder to figure out exactly what the best deck is compared to the last expansion. So in the last expansion, right off the bat, week 1, Bomb Warrior was the deck. And so it became very obvious, I think, to anybody that was playing that deck archetype was very, very powerful, and there didn't seem to be anything that could stop it. So it was an easy decision to go in and do. For me, I crafted Darius, I crafted one of the other legendaries. I think I already had Dr. Boom. But basically, I said, geez, it's only going to cost me maybe 2 more legendaries to build the whole deck. But it was worthwhile because it was the only deck you could really easily win with at the start of that season. So sometimes it may be obvious very early on, but I've also been, there's been expansions where a deck is super powerful the first week, but then people figure out what decks counter it, and so then you end up with the sort of classic, there's one deck and then there's a deck that can counter it, and that makes both decks more or less effective, in my opinion, because people then stop playing it, so the counter deck usually only works well against the one deck. Less and less people play it, so then the win rate of that deck goes down. The win rate of the original deck goes down because it's being hard countered by a deck. So what you want to try to do is you want to try to wait for the meta to settle and then decide what's going to be the most valuable. And we've talked about this before on some of my other videos, but you want to be really careful about what you spend your dust on in terms of legendaries. You know that the cards from last expansion are going to rotate out this December. Other than Ziliax, which and I've said this again in video after video since the beginning of the year, if you don't have Ziliax, you need Ziliax. He's in almost every deck. He's the one legendary I would say you should craft him if you don't have him. But other than that, there isn't any other legendaries from the earlier sets that you absolutely must have. Now, that could change with this expansion because of the quests. There certainly could be cards that all of a sudden are much more powerful, that all of a sudden help you very quickly complete one of the quests. And it may be in some cases, like you've seen here, right? I'm going to probably end up with one more legendary. And that means for me, I've got the Mage quest. And then if I get another one, that's great. I'll have maybe another quest. But the odds are, at this point, I'm going to end up with probably the one Mage quest. Which means I'm going to either have to craft the other quests, or just not play them. And the other problem with the quests is that typically, if I'm going to go play Mage quests, I'm going to need Mage legendaries in all likelihood. So you got to be really careful because you get stuck in that archetype. I mean, it's happened to me. I only typically play as I would say I am mostly free to play, but I have pre-purchased a handful of the different expansions over the years, especially the first one each year because it has more value. I would say in general, in terms of that, I would say you want to play maybe 3 classes at most when you're starting. So for me, it was Hunter, Mage. Those are the 2 that I'm golden in. and they're very easy and cheap decks to play. Hunter you can play without really almost any legendaries. And for a long time you could play Hunter with just Rexar, Deathstalker Rexar when he was in the rotation. But with quests, a lot of times you're going to need more legendaries. And it becomes more and more out of reach. So if you don't already have all those Hunter legendaries, or excuse me, the Warrior legendaries that we're talking about, Dr. Boom and Darius and some of the others for Bomb Warrior, or some sort of variation on Bomb Warrior, whatever is kind of the most popular. And it's nice we get 2 of them right in the same pack, but I think we already have them. You need to be really careful about that legendary, and that's probably going to be our last legendary for this pack opening, so we'll see what we get. Alright, so we end up with the Priest quest. So this is pretty good for us, right? Because, as I just mentioned, I play Mage, I play Priest, and I play Hunter. For the most part. I certainly dabble in Warrior right now because it was so powerful in the last expansion, and I have all those legendaries. I don't have as many of the Priest legendaries, personally. I've shied away from Priest. Priest to me was much better when you could play Resurrect Priest maybe 2 years ago. So that's when I got most of my wins on that deck. But I do play Priest from time to time. Priest is actually my favorite class, I would say, in the game, although it's not particularly powerful. I just love how annoying it is against opponents, and I hate playing against it, but I love playing it as it. And then for me, Mage is like always just an easy deck to learn and play, and it relies more on RNG, and it relies more on sometimes skillful play, but not always. Certainly there are times where you win just out of sheer luck playing some of the Mage class cards. So that would be my recommendation, is really focus in on what decks can you play with the cards that you have without crafting anything, and really keep your crafting till later in the month. I would wait till probably the end of August and then decide which of these legendaries, not just are going to be good now, but what legendaries could be good moving forward. And we can say, so like last time the quest came out, which was in Journey to Nguru, I think. Right, there was one broken quest, which was the Rogue quest. And then most of the rest of the quests were very powerful right when they came out, and then they shied off because the Lich Kings came out. So all of a sudden those took precedent. Now still people played some of the quests, don't get me wrong, but the quests were most powerful for those 4 months. And everybody was, at the time, thought like you need to craft all of these quests because these are so powerful. But again, there's power creep. We know that in December new expansions will come out. They'll probably be even more powerful cards that you're going to need. So you got to pick and choose. And then at the end of the year, right, we rotate out the 3 sets, and all of a sudden we're back to the basics again, and you're back to a very low power level. So the power level creeps up through the end of the year. It makes the legendaries, you got to really focus in, I think, as the calendar year goes on. That'll be my best advice for you if you're new to the game and trying to figure out what do I craft, what do I spend the gold on, that sort of thing. For now, keep buying these packs, right? You want to try to get a handful of these legendaries while they're fresh, and as you're building up gold, but then almost immediately, I'd say by the end of August too, you can certainly spend some gold as you collect packs here, as you earn gold, and I know most people don't sit around with 8,000 golds in their account, 2 epics, which is nice. But if you're maybe a newer player, spend the gold for right now, keep opening these packs until you get to a legendary, and then kind of hold off. Nice final pack here. So let's see where we kind of end up in terms of dust. And then we'll end this video. So we see here in our crafting menu, we are disenchanting 96 commons, 12 rares, 53 packs I believe we had. So not too bad. We definitely had a number of golden cards. So let's see. We're going to look at the new cards we got. So we got a golden garden gnome, which is great. We got a golden wild tamer, which is great, but we have 2 wild tamers as well, so we might dust one of those. We got, as we mentioned, we got that mage quest. Yep, and we got a golden pharaoh's blessing. We got the priest quest. We got a golden hook scimitar, it's a common. We got an expired merchant. bunch of warrior cards, and then obviously a lot of commons. We got the Ritualist is golden. We got the Bone Wraith is golden. So not all in all a bad pull, but at the same time we just bought 50 packs and got 3 legendaries. That's a tough pill to swallow. We got 2. So one of the legendaries though we opened in, we got. So the Mage legendary we got for free. So we really got 50 packs, 2 legendaries, which is about what you can expect with Hearthstone. But again, it's not particularly thrilling to open that many packs. And to me, again, you're thinking about if I bought the pre-purchase for this, 50 packs, $50, $49.99 US. I would have gotten 2 legendaries, and I would have got 820 more dust. Yes, I would have had 5,000 more gold. But is that really worth $49.99? And I would say at this point, no. And that's kind of where I've landed on the pre-purchases. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Love to hear your thoughts with the new expansion. And we'll jump right into playing pretty soon with some decks and things like that. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe to the channel. And if you have any thoughts, again, leave them down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.